Well, hello world. Dr. Dan Graham here today, and I hope you are doing swell today. Oh boy. Well, we're going to be going over the current state of affairs here in America, in Arizona, and in Gilbert concerning the coronavirus. And coronavirus is a very scary thing. Watching all the news agencies and the president talk about this, we just don't know quite what to expect. But we can tell you that we are on the crest of the bell curve of this infection, and how many people are going to be infected, how many people are going to succumb to this, we just do not know. But as of yesterday, the CDC current statistics have us at 163,000 Americans, a little bit over, affected with this. They didn't have the numbers this morning, April 1st, 2020, which is today. But as of yesterday, we also had 2,860 deaths that were confirmed due to the coronavirus. Now, depending on the news agency that you listen to, I have seen numbers as high as 4,000 as of yesterday, but the official numbers for yesterday, 2,860, and according to the Arizona Department of Health, 1,157 Arizonans have been infected with the coronavirus. Now, let's put things in perspective. How does this compare to other viruses? Well, last year's flu season, which we're just kind of ending it right now, according to the CDC, we had over 35 million Americans that were infected with the flu, and we had 34,000 Americans that actually died from the flu last year for the end of the 2018-2019 season. We're just ending it right now. So anyway, try and keep this in perspective. Is coronavirus going to be worse than the flu? Well, everyone's saying it is, but we just don't know for sure. So try and keep your head about you. Try and keep up with what the current recommendations are. I'll give you some little tidbits of what Dr. Dan does to protect his family at home, and we'll kind of go from there. So anyway, what's causing all this is the coronavirus, COVID-19. We got two strains out there, Wuhan flu, we got the China virus, but the two strains are the L and the S strain. Now, the S strain was the original virus that had transferred from animal to human, and then the L strain is the more virulent type of virus that is spreading more throughout the world today. Now, back in 2007, when I was doing my radio show, we had reported on this, and then also I put it up on my Facebook page, and you can look at my Facebook page, my Twitter page, Instagram. We'll be having this post up there again, and then also you can look on Dr. Dan the Man or Body Users Guide on YouTube, and we will post some of this information up and keep you abreast of what the current situation is. But back in 2007, we had the Lab of Emerging Infectious Diseases out of the Department of Microbiology. University of Hong Kong reported that they were having coronavirus that was being detected in large amounts in flying rodents called a hatch bat or a cave bat or whatever type of bat it was, but it was flying around in China, and then people were eating it, and they were saying, hey, it's only a matter of time before this actually transferred into a disease that affected humans. And that was back in 2007. Well, here we are in 2019, 2020, and we got chock full of it, and it's spreading here in America. So anyway, that's where it came from. That's how long that we've been warned about it. And let's talk about how this thing spreads. So two ways that it spreads. One is through contact with the mucous membrane. So we are told to keep a 6-foot distance, the social distancing, which is the new term going around. And I'm here to tell you that that might not be enough, because I'm going to point you to some YouTube videos from Mike Rowe on Dirty Jobs, and they had a girl that was in an airplane, and then Mike stood right in front of her, and she was probably 2 or 3 feet away. She coughed on him, and they had this epidemiologist that swabbed his face, his forehead specifically, and then put the swab in some meter, and then it read that he actually had some of the bacteria that she was carrying in her throat. So anyway, what they had found was that when someone coughs, you aerosolize out the particles that can contain the virus up to 7 feet, and it comes out of the mouth at 55 miles an hour. So what this means is that if you're within someone's range, 7-foot range, and they're coughing, they're sneezing, so say you're in a grocery store, you can actually contract the virus that way. So if someone's coughing and sneezing, you kind of want to go the other way. Now, this brings up the point of, do face masks help? Well, currently the CDC states that face masks will help a person from spreading the virus if they're already infected. But does it help from keeping the virus from infecting you? The CDC says not quite yet. They came out yesterday with a news briefing that said that there is really no evidence to show that wearing a mask will prevent some of the disease, but I have seen some other online charts that will say that of the countries that are using a mask, the incidence of infection has gone down, specifically China and Japan, but that is not peer-reviewed research. It's just reported on some of the websites that are selling masks. So we just don't know, but according to the CDC, wearing a mask and trying to prevent yourself from getting the infection has really no effect on it, just because even though you're covering your nose and your mouth, you do not cover your eyes, and the eyes can be a source of infection, as it has a direct line right to the sinus cavity of the head. Anyway, so that is one thing. The second thing is that when people are coughing and sneezing and they're trying to cover their mouth and trying to be courteous to others, the trouble is that a lot of people are not washing their hands. When they are not washing their hands, they're touching doorknobs, they're touching boxes of food on the grocery store, touching a cold can of beer as they're kind of going through, trying to pick something out at the grocery store that they want. But anyway, the bottom line is this, is that anytime when you touch something that has the virus on it, and the virus can be viable for days on the surface, as soon as you start touching your face, whether you're rubbing your eyes, picking your nose, getting something out of your teeth, then that gives you a direct contact with the virus that can cause the infection. So you want to try and avoid your face, and this will drive you crazy, but you want to make sure and not touch your face, but do yourself a favor, count how many times you actually touch your face during the day, and it will drive you nuts if you don't train yourself to not touch your face, okay? So what's the key to that? Don't touch your face, wash your hands a lot. We know that with the infection, the incubation period is said to be 2 to 14 days. So that means that you can have an infection and get symptoms on day 2 or 2 weeks out. Now, say the symptoms start to dissipate and you're feeling better. How long are you still able to infect other people? As of yesterday, they said up to 8 days. So you got quite a long time in order to cause an infection to other people, and you might not even know it. But so the importance of this is that if you're sick, by all means, try and stay home. Try not to spread the infection if you can. That is the reason why America has been quarantining people. I've had patients that have been quarantined coming in from other countries and that sort of thing. It's very interesting to actually see this at this day and age. But anyway, when it comes to the what you can do at home, you want to be able to wash your hands. You want to use hand sanitizer. You want to try and not touch your face again. Stay home if you are sick. If you do blow your nose or cough in your hands, wash your hands right afterwards. Don't just go, touching something and spread this to your family. We went over the face mask, also cleaning surfaces. Now, when I go to the grocery store, we know that a lot of stuff is actually off the shelves. So as far as hand sanitizer, what the CDC recommends is hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. So we got one that's 62 and one's that's 63%, and that's what you want to use. Now, there is no Clorox wipes at the grocery store. If you get them, you are lucky, but I have yet to see them. So what can you do at home? According to the CDC website, they had 2 solutions for cleaning surfaces at your home. One is to use a 70% alcohol solution. So just get a bottle of alcohol from a drugstore or your grocery store, and don't dilute it, and use that in order to wipe down your surfaces of your kitchen, your bathroom, doorknobs, that sort of thing. Second thing is that if you have some household bleach, 5 tablespoons per gallon of water or 4 teaspoons per quart of water will effectively do the same thing, create a nice cleaning solution that has been said, according to the CDC, effective in eliminating the coronavirus off of surfaces, okay? So anyway, so what can we do for this at home? What do we do aside from just avoiding touching our face, avoiding walking into someone else's sneeze cloud that they do? What else can we do at home? Well, in my household, I recommend 2 things that my family take every single day, and then we add 1 more thing in if we start to get symptoms. And the first thing that I always go towards is, now before I say this, this is my opinion, has it been proven to ward off the coronavirus or that you fight it off? Unfortunately, no, but this is just my opinion, my experience over the years of doing 15 years of radio on 3 stations here in the Phoenix, doing it with lots of docs from 4 different hospitals here. And my experience has been is that when it comes to a natural remedy, echinacea, liquid echinacea is the #1 thing that I go to in my household. So in the morning, myself and then my family, we take 1 dropper full of echinacea under the tongue. We use the alcohol version. It does sting the tongue and leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but what it does is it boosts your immune system up. And what you will notice from this is that if you are sick, I actually recommend that we use the echinacea up to once an hour in order to bring the healing properties of echinacea, the immune system boosting ability of the echinacea into your body. So once an hour when you're getting sick. Second thing is colloidal silver, 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 teaspoon at night. That's what I recommend to my family. Now, if you do get sick, you have, in my opinion, that first time that you swallow and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I'm getting sick. Am I getting sick? I think I'm getting sick. You got 4 to 6 hours in order to try and knock that out, in my opinion. Every time I've ever gotten the cold or the flu, if I pay attention, jump right on it, echinacea once an hour, hit some colloidal silver, do some rest, then I can usually knock it out. But if I don't, if I finish treating patients during the day, think, okay, I'm just lazy, I'm gonna go home, have a beer and sleep it off, then usually I wake up with full symptoms. Sister, you're getting sick. That's the bottom line. So anyway, once you do get sick, echinacea once per hour. That's what I do. With previous colds and flus, will it work this time? We don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. Second thing is colloidal silver, 1 teaspoon in the morning, at lunch, and at night if you are getting sick. And then we also add in elderberry extract, elderberry syrup. Very powerful antiviral properties. Was first proven at University out of Israel. Very powerful over the years with my family. And some of just the social things. You want to get out and you want to breathe some fresh air. Being cooped up in the house is not necessarily that healthy for you, but you don't want to go in places where there's lots of people, so you want to make sure that you're out and about, taking a walk with your family in a park or something like that. You also want to do moderate exercise. It's proven time and time again that when someone starts to feel sick, I have a lot of patients say, well, I just go to the gym and work it out and burn it up. The trouble is it burns up your energy. Been proven time and time again that extreme exercise when you're just starting to get sick makes things worse. So keep some good circulation going through your body, get the endorphins up, but make sure that you don't overdo it. You also want to avoid high inflammatory things like processed foods. You want to try and eat pretty clean. You want to try and eat non-excessively, but keep the calories coming from very organic type of food in order to make the body as strong as possible. You want to make sure you're drinking quality H2O, get some water in there in order to flush things out. If you're coughing, you're sneezing, you're just expelling water out of your system and it has to be replenished, or your body can't get that stuff out. I always like, if you're starting to feel bad, watch some funny movies, get some endorphins flowing in, and make sure that you're actually getting that positive energy going in your household, and make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. I have a lot of people that just aren't getting the sleep that they normally, should, especially at these times when the coronavirus is going around. So make sure that you're getting a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Try and replenish the body, because that's when the body heals at its best. So anyway, this is Dr. Dan Graham, and we want to make sure that you chime in every single week where we're given tidbits of information on health and fitness. Once again, I'm Dr. Dan the Man on Body User's Guide. You can find me, Danny Graham, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and my website for the downtown Gilbert area is downtowngilberthealthcare.com. Email info@downtowngilberthealthcare.com. And in this situation, the cards have been dealt. Now it's time for the whole world to play out the hand. So, as I like to say, take it from a know-it-all who knows it all, or at least I try to. Dr. Dan Graham, thank you.